is. You look beautiful. Look at my roses. So pretty. Oh, those colors are gorgeous. God's beauty. So I'm here walking in IKEA. Finally got it. I've been stalking it for like 3 weeks. The famous Alex drawers. Let's see if I can get these suckers in the car. But I'm happy I got them. Yay!
Talking about these screws that go into the drawer thing. I see what they're saying, but it's nothing. The screws aren't catching anything. It's like they should have given me some washers or something. Because it doesn't make any sense.
Do the other ones work?
No, I'm on basically the last part of this. But okay, that's this.
So guys, this is my set of the infamous Alex drawers. I have been needing these for quite some time. I decided to make it like my little office, the top of it anywhere, my little office area. There's some stuff, some brushes and stuff drying. Basically, this is how I just organized everything. I don't have a crazy collection of makeup, but if I keep going the rate that I'm going, I'm gonna have it. These were compliments of Andre putting the nice drawers together. Yeah, so this is how I've decided to organize things. My makeup collection was getting a little bit bigger than I anticipated. I typically don't even buy a bunch of makeup just because it's brand new. I buy it because I'm interested in it. So this is what it's looking like. Again, this is my little office area. This is my Lotus Doll book. This is my video organization book, and you know, just some everyday stuff that I might need in my office area. I'm also a writer, so I got my my pencil sharpener, my pencils and stuff, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think that I'm probably going to end up getting another set of these because I got a feeling that I'm not going to be able to fit everything that I thought I would, but I guess as long as I try to organize well, I'll be all right. But that is the famous set of Alex drawers. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Okay guys, so it's almost the end of the week and I wanted to just rant a little bit about some stuff that has been going on in the news. Of course, you know, I always gotta throw in my 2 cents. So first of all, about these COVID vaccines. Well, you know, you're looking at me, so I'm black. And when all this started, it was about the fact that a lot of black people weren't feeling comfortable taking that vaccine because they were talking about we were the ones who were getting it the most and blah, blah, blah. And my thing is, quite frankly, black people are most of the blue collar workers in this country. So naturally, and that light is too bright. Naturally, they're going to be the essential workers. The essential workers do the blue collar work, you know. We do the janitor work. We work in retail. we are the grocery store workers. We are all of those things mostly. So of course, we're going to be the ones to get the virus before other people and have to worry about protecting ourselves more so. So basically, black people just, we're at the point to where we're just not trusting the government for so many different reasons. I mean, y'all watch the news, right? But anyway, so a lot of black people I know, including myself, I'm just not feeling like, I should take the vaccine right now. I have, lupus and I'm on dialysis. So that's like a double whammy, but it's also a double whammy if I get COVID. So it's like, this is the kind of environment that this government has fed. So now we don't even trust taking the vaccine. Me personally, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see a little while to see, who else gets it and how it affects them. Me having lupus, that's a whole nother animal in itself as far as the vaccine. So maybe, I have someone in my life presently that has lupus just like I have, and she has taken the vaccine. So we're going to check that out and, see how it works out for her. So, the next thing that's just really eating me up is this inauguration. Wow. So many issues within that inauguration. At first I wasn't even going to watch it because, again, I already told you guys, I'm hashtag ADOS, the lineage and the movement, ADOS101.com. Go check it out. I didn't vote for Kamala and Joe, and I damn sure wasn't voting for Trump. So there's that. So that inauguration, I just said, let me watch it. Let me see what they're talking about. Let me see if they're going to give me something. And of course, they gave me nothing. So the first thing that was on my list with that was Amy Klobuchar calling Kamala Harris African American. I don't know if that's just their way of saying we gave you somebody colored. So check that out. Because I damn sure know we all don't look alike. And African American, she's not. She's Jamaican and she's Indian. So that makes her an immigrant. We need to start differentiating between Black Americans and other people who come here from other countries who happen to have black skin. We keep getting that wrong. But I know why they're calling her African American, because they're trying to make it like they've created some kind of diversity. They've met their quota, but I don't care for that. If Joe was going to pick anybody, it should have been Stacey Abrams. But I know she doesn't look right. And y'all know what I mean by that. She's from Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. She represents what the true Black American experience is in this country. And that would have been the person to choose Joe Biden. So, Amy Klobuchar with that African American, Kamala Harris is not. Kamala Harris may have African in her blood, but she is not the Black American people who have been systemically oppressed in this country. She's not us. It's just not what it is. That's it. So aside from that, the priest who did the initial prayer, he said something about America being built on this, and let's not continue to produce in America or something like that is based on power and privilege. And my thoughts were, that is America, period. That's how it was built. And what are you going to do to stop it? We keep saying these idealistic, let's not do this, and we must do this, and we have to do this, but it never changes. And the fact that, Democrats are now in power, but it doesn't matter because it hasn't changed anything for the people who voted those Democrats in. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's like, who's going to give up what so that we can truly have change? How are we going to do that? So aside from that, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, are we really trying to make a change here, you know? So my next gripe with this inauguration was the fact that Garth Brooks was singing Amazing Grace. Now, it was all over the place. So a couple of the ladies wore this purple for women's suffraging movement. And then, you know, we're in the midst of this Black Lives Matter. There was a thing that happened in the Capitol. But then Garth Brooks is singing a song by John Newton, who was a slave owner who happened to write a song about being redeemed because God supposedly helped him in some boating incident that was tumultuous, and he feels like God got him through. So all of a sudden he wants redemption for the dirt that he has done to the people that were working for him for free. So I'm like, what is that about? Why were we doing that? I just don't get it. I just, you know, and also what I also noticed was, as he was singing that song, they showed the girl who did the poetry in the crowd, and a couple of other Black people sitting like right next to him. So I don't even think it was something that they meant to do, but I caught that, and it was like, okay, you're singing Amazing Grace. And, you know, side note, Black people, we should stop singing that song. We should stop singing that song. We should come up with something else. That song is cognitively dissonant. That is the ultimate. Every time somebody Black dies, that's the first thing somebody gets up and sings. Why are we doing that? We need to really educate ourselves about some of the things that we are continuing, and it just keeps getting passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's time for us to stop singing that song. It's not for us, quite frankly. So the next thing was, and I had mentioned Amanda Gorman, her poetry. I really appreciate her standing up and saying that, you know, she's the descendant of a slave and she was raised by a single mother. However, the poem, you know, it was PC, of course, very idealistic. I thought it was beautiful. However, I think that she actually does have talent. Which brings me to my next point, because Amanda Gorman and Reverend Bierman, who did the benediction, they kind of work together pretty much. I liked that Reverend Bierman made a reference to the fact that slaves built the shrine that they were standing in front of, that Capitol. And he says that America should acknowledge sin, but then he turned around and said, give forgiveness. My thing is this, okay, acknowledge sin, but in order for me to forgive someone, you have to have made your wrong right. And that is where America is going wrong in terms of ADOS people. Because, you know, we keep forgiving, but they haven't made it right for us. That is what the problem is. They haven't made it right for us. And which brings me to my last point about Joe Biden's speech. Again, very idealistic. I heard a lot of must in that. I heard the mention of unity. I heard the mention of white supremacy. I heard something about racial justice. But for us, Black Americans, what does racial justice look like? For me, it's going to need to be economic justice in the form of reparations. We can't keep acting like the racial wealth gap doesn't exist. We can't keep acting like the ancestors that I and many other ADOS people have descended from got the Homestead Act. Like we didn't go through Jim Crow. Like, we didn't go through racial terror. Like, they didn't tear down Tulsa. Like, they didn't tear down Slocum. Like, they didn't tear down Rosewood. Everything that we did build up by our very minuscule bootstraps, like they keep telling us, and then we were racially terrorized and it was taken away. Then they gave us crack. Then they gave us mass incarceration. They gave us a lot of things that have created what's going on right now. The poverty, the hopelessness, the crime, the mass incarceration. It gave us all of those things, and we don't want to acknowledge that that type of justice is needed. If you give us the start that you gave your ancestors back when, you know, and it's sad because you waited so long to give it to us. It's like 19 trillion, because that's what the number is, I'm understanding. You waited so long, and now look at where we are. You know, racial justice, like I said, economic justice, and you're going to have to reverse what our ancestors who built the country for free didn't get. There's going to need to be criminal justice. And he said something about leaving the country better for our children and our children's children. Well, quite frankly, you know, with the racial wealth gap, what happened was the white Americans who had the black people enslaved, they got paid off land and labor that my ancestors tilled. My ancestors, you know, sweat, their blood and their tears, they did all of that. And they were able to leave something to their children and their children's children from way back when, but we never got that opportunity. So, you know, in terms of that inauguration, I hear more of the same. You know, Kamala already said she wasn't going to do something just for black people. We already said that, but the issue is that black people, we need something right now. We're not, you know, we put you guys in office for the most part. And I know there are some people who help put you in office, but that's because they just wanted Trump out of there. It has nothing to do with the fact that, you know, you guys are so much better, in my personal opinion. So that's just my rant. The inauguration, nah. More of the same. And that's exactly why I didn't vote for them. Hashtag ADOS, ADOS101.com, y'all. We got to get this together. And there will be no unity if everybody up here has something and the people down here don't have anything. And the wrongs were never made right. Bottom line. That's where we are. That's just my rant. Okay, guys, so tonight for dinner, we are going to be doing stuffed acorn squash with ground turkey, wild rice, and spinach. So these are the ingredients that we will be using. Over here, this is a half of a bell pepper. That's a half a cup of carrot. That's a quarter of a red onion. 1 garlic clove. We'll also be using the zest of 1 lemon. This is 2 teaspoons of parsley flakes, a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary, a teaspoon of thyme, and a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. And this right here is just a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. This is 3 cups of spinach. We'll be using a cup of wild rice. And this is 1.5 pounds of ground turkey. And these are the stars of the show, the acorn squash. And I'm going to get started with these guys by cutting the top and the bottom to make a flat surface. And then we're going to cut them in half to make our cups for the squash. So let's get started. Okay, so I've started out, of course, by cutting my squash. Everything is open and I've cleaned them out. Some of the flesh can be left in because you are going to be able to eat these. So I've got the oven going at 425 degrees, and this is a sheet pan that I lightly line with some olive oil. So the next step that I'm going to do is just turn the acorn squash over, give them a little drop of olive oil, and then just lightly give them each a bit of olive oil on the outside. So you want dry out. Just take your little brush and okay, and that is our last one. So now we put the olive oil on the outside. So the next step we're gonna do is just to salt, pepper, and put a little chili powder into each one. A little chili powder, like that. What I also want to do is add a little bit of olive oil on the rim of these guys as well. All right. And now they are ready for the oven. 30 minutes should have them roasted nice and toasty. And then we're going to get started on the ground turkey and the wild rice. So in this large saute pan, I'm going to be adding my ground turkey. Just gonna put it in the pan and let that get started cooking. We're gonna break it up a bit. Let it get started. And over here, I've got 2 cups of water that I brought to a boil. We're gonna turn that down to medium. And there's a tablespoon of butter in that as well. And I'm gonna add my wild rice to the pan. Move it around a little bit in there, like that. And we are going to let that cook in a little bit. And our turkey is starting to fry up pretty well over here. So that's what's going on right now. We're getting started. So my turkey is cooking up pretty well. We're going to get all the pink out of that. And now over here, my wild rice is cooking up. And I just want to add a little bit of salt to that. And a little bit of pepper as well. A little bit more. So wild rice can be pretty bland. It's not going to be bland because we're going to have the seasonings from the turkey to mix with that once we do our stuffing. But you just want to get a little flavor into the wild rice. Turkey is looking good. Let's check on. Oh yeah, those guys are looking pretty. Our roasted squash. So my turkey is cooked up. We're going to add some salt and pepper to that. Some good flavor. You're going to mix that in real well. transfer our turkey to a bowl. So we're gonna transfer this to a bowl now that we've added our salt and pepper and finish working on our rice. So it smells like the acorn squash is ready. It smells so good. Yeah, there we go. Those guys are perfectly roasted. We're just gonna sit them here until we get the rest of the stuffing together. They look delicious. So in the same pan that we were using, we're gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil. We're gonna get that hot. All here, yeah, like that. Now we're going to add our onions. And cook down real well. And that clove of garlic. Cooking real well. And finally, we're going to add our carrots. And we're going to let those carrots cook down real well in there with those onions and garlic. And let it get a good flavor. So now that my carrots are tender, I'm going to add the bell pepper. Get all that out of there. Smelling really good in here. So we're going to let that get a little tender too. Add it into everything with that carrot, garlic, and the onion. Smelling really good. So now that those carrots and the bell peppers are nice and tender, I'm going to add the 3 cups of spinach to the mixture. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil on top of that. And I'm going to mix it in and let it wilt down. The rice is cooking up real well over there. Wilting up the spinach. Now that my spinach and the rest of my vegetables are wilted, I'm going to add that to the bowl of turkey. We're going to mix this in to the turkey. We're just going to let it sit and combine together. So now that our rice is done, that is what it looks like. I'm going to add the garlic, the rosemary, the thyme, and a teaspoon of the chili powder. And the parsley. So we are going to just combine these guys together. And finally, we're going to add that lemon zest to the rice. So now that our wild rice is done, I am going to just add that to the turkey mixture. It smells so good. It's lemony. I'm going to add that to the turkey mixture. This is going to be the stuffing for the acorn squash. And you mix it all together like that. It's very pretty. Look at that. Mix it all together. Let it combine really well. And the next step is going to be stuffing the acorn squash with this mixture. So that's next. Okay guys, so this is our finished meal. This is the stuffed acorn squash with ground turkey, wild rice, and spinach. So first of all, guys, I tasted a little bit of it. I couldn't resist before I filmed. The combination of the rosemary and the lemon in this just sets it off. So I really can't wait to eat. And here on the side, we're just gonna do a simple salad with blue cheese and, you know, the dressing of our choice, of course. And again, this is the stuffed acorn squash with ground turkey, wild rice, and spinach. So guys, thank you so much for watching my vlog this week. I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I again hope that you will subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up, as it helps me to build my channel. And again, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.